Welcome back to FTBL Culture. It's your boy CultureCams. And listen, you know what time of the year it is. It's the World Cup. World Cup.
Oi,
World
banger
Cup.
of the year, bro.
World Cup. It's
Little baby who?
Exactly.
That clears it.
Hey, it's that time of the year. So, you know, around this time of the year, the big discussions start. The debates, the head-to-heads, who's going to win it, all of that. So I had to bring my man, Lyes, in the booth again, you know, to discuss this one. Today's episode, we're going to talk about the two nations who are actually the favourites for the tournament.
Yeah.
With two players who have the most expectation on them this tournament as well. And I think, as you can see from our jerseys, I'm repping Brazil today.
I'm repping Argentina.
And we're talking about two superstar players.
Yes, sir.
Messi
and Neymarzito.
I'm just going to ask you first and foremost, before we get into anything else, who's got the most expectation to win this World Cup?
Between Brazil or Argentina?
Between Brazil and Argentina.
Hey, man, I think Brazil are the self-proclaimed kings of football for a reason. 5 World Cups, they go into every single tournament expecting to win. And the craziest thing is, though, it's been 20 years since the last time they won it. And I think people seem to forget that a lot.
Yeah.
The last time they won the World Cup was 2002. We're talking R9, Rivaldo, Ronaldinho, Roberto Carlos. It's been a minute since these guys won. But I think they enter every single tournament expecting to win. Not hoping to win, expecting. And anything less than that is failure. So I think it's like Real Madrid in the Champions League.
Yep,
they
exactly
always enter the tournament. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
They enter the tournament as the favorites, the ones with the highest expectation and the least room for failure.
Yeah. But don't you think, I think the expectation is on Argentina. And the reason why I say Argentina is because of that one man that we're going to get into, the man that you're wearing his jersey right now. It's his final tournament.
Yeah, man.
He, in the Argentina streets, in the streets of Argentina, they don't love you like that, homeboy. They don't love you like that. It's still Diego Maradona, R.I.P. to him. But what he did in 1986 is one of the greatest things that football has ever seen.
Yeah.
Delivering that World Cup to Argentina, the only World Cup they have so far to register to date.
Yeah. No, they got two.
Sorry.
Shout out Mario Kempes.
Yeah, they got two. Sorry. But that tournament was where he announced himself basically as I'm in the GOAT conversation. And Messi, of course, he's done it all on club level. Yeah. He finally got the Copa America after 4 tournaments in 3 years or whatever it was. But I feel like because of Messi, I think the expectation to deliver on his last tournament is greater for Argentina.
Is that your argument then? You think Messi's got more pressure on his shoulders than the other guy we're about to mention?
I think Messi's got more pressure on his shoulders.
That's interesting.
I think he's got more pressure on his shoulders because with Brazil, like I'll go into it. Now with Brazil, we got Neymar, right? Who, of course, is seen as the figurehead. He's the guy. He's had a career he's the chosen one. But the thing about Neymar is that, of course, he's come through with looking up to people like Pele, Zico, Garrincha, Ronaldinho, R9, Rivaldo. The list goes on and on. These are multiple names that he's trying to enter the conversation.
Yeah.
But Messi is trying to enter the conversation with one man. One man who is seen as the god of his nation.
Of course.
So I think in their country, in Argentina, it's like, you have to deliver what Maradona done, or we won't take you in the same way we do with Maradona. Because he grew up in Argentina. He didn't grow up in... Well, he grew up until he was 13 years old, and he left. He done his thing, but they see him as a Catalan. He's a Catalonia boy in Argentina.
Listen, I think he went some ways in banishing those demons this past summer in the Copa America. I think that went a long way in kind of...
Is that enough, though?
That's really the whole thing. In Argentina, Diego is king. Diego is God. They call him Dios, with the 10 instead of the IO. But I think the reason I would argue that Neymar, for me, has more pressure on him is that Messi, for me, is facing the pressure probably only from his country. I think Messi could not win this World Cup, and a lot of people would still consider him the GOAT. I think the only people at this point really who are Ronaldo fans, the older generation, like the old heads who still put Maradona in that conversation, and possibly Argentinians. But I think Neymar is basically fighting for the approval of the world, of the footballing world, because I say it time and time again, I think he's the most disrespected superstar footballer I've ever seen in my life. You talk about the guys that he's chasing, Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, a lot of people may argue that at club level, he's probably accomplished more than any of them in terms of his statistics, in terms of the Champions Leagues that he's won, the numbers he's put up, and yet he's never considered in those conversations. And we talk about the World Cup, and especially for Brazil, how much an international trophy means something. You talk about Messi's Copa America. Neymar hasn't won the Copa America for Brazil. In fact, they won it without him. They won it when he was out. So me personally, I look at this tournament as like the tournament where Neymar, for me, wins the adoration of the public, wins the adoration of the casual fan. Because I think still people disrespect Neymar. And winning the World Cup can banish all of that and put him in these conversations that I think he truly belongs in, 100%.
But I feel like, when I say expectation, with what you're saying, is I feel like the want. For the fans, the people that love the game, I want to see Neymar win this tournament.
Yeah, me too.
Of course, if it's not the nation I'm supporting, I want it to be Brazil and I want it to be Neymar because of those reasons that you're saying. But I don't think that means the expectation to win it is as high as the want. The desire for him to win it is great. I have a big desire for him to win it because he's one of the most entertaining players ever. Yeah. I've always said a top 10 football talent that I've ever seen.
For sure.
If we're talking about what he can do, left foot, right foot, pass, dribble, everything that he can do. He's such a great player, but I think the desire is more for that. We want to see Neymar enter those conversations where it's like, you've lived in the shadow of Messi in a way. At club level, you did your thing with Barcelona, but people still talk about Messi. You go to PSG. In fact, Messi comes from Barcelona and actually wins the Ballon d'Or while playing for PSG, even though it was with his Barcelona.
Can I speak to you about the Ballon d'Or, though? I think that also adds to why I think Neymar needs this World Cup more than Messi, because I think that PSG... Yeah,
but the need, the need, but the expectation to win it, is that the same thing?
I mean, maybe not, because I think Messi, right? People, no matter what you say, especially the older generation, I think of my dad, for example. I grew up on tales of Maradona. My dad has seen Messi from start to finish. We've seen him win every single thing in Europe 3 times over, 7 Ballon d'Ors, and still to this day he'll tell me, I'm taking Maradona over Messi, because what I saw in 1986, I don't think it ever can be redefined by Messi. Messi could never do that. And in his eye, he may never ever see Messi in the same conversation as him until he sees Messi replicate that. No matter how unjust that is, it's just the way a lot of people think. The World Cup, until recently, and I think a lot of that has to do with Messi and Ronaldo's failings at World Cups. The World Cup doesn't mean as much as it used to. So in that sense, maybe Messi does.
That's part of it, though. That's part of it. As you mentioned, like Messi and Ronaldo, because they haven't really delivered at the World Cup, and I've got this stat, of course, Messi and Ronaldo, this isn't a Ronaldo discussion. Messi has 0 goals in the World Cup knockout rounds. 0. The world have been waiting for this guy to turn up at a World Cup properly, and he won that bogus golden ball that we all know Adidas wanted to give it to their sponsor. We know how it goes, you know what I mean? The golden boy. However, in those knockout rounds, he didn't score. Argentina ended up losing the final, which he had a gilt-edged opportunity as well to score in that final. Everyone talks about Higuain, but we remember Messi's opportunity as well.
Yeah, it was bad.
And yes, you may talk, but we're talking about GOAT conversations. I wouldn't say to be the GOAT, you have to win the World Cup, but the expectation to go into whatever you step into and be victorious and be a champion comes with who you are. And this is the reigning Copa America champions. This is a team that's unbeaten in about 30 games, over 30 games. This is the best side he has probably had amongst, and I think you can talk about the other name. He had Higuain, Tevez, all these names. I remember the 2010 when Maradona was even the manager.
That's a sabotage job, by the way.
What is that, 0 goals in that tournament?
Well, hold on, though.
We are waiting. Hold on. The world is waiting for Lionel Messi to really turn up and take over a World Cup.
But that's kind of my point, right? I agree that this is probably the best Argentina side he's ever faced. And in fact, like you said, he's ever had. And in fact, it's like you said, when you look at the star names, it's actually lacking. You don't see an Higuain, you don't see a Tevez, even a Mascherano or a Di Maria at his peak, or an Aguero.
He's the guy.
Riquelme, like they don't have that guy next to Messi. And if anything, Messi is at the down. Like this is the closing years of Messi's career. It's not the best Messi we've ever seen.
No.
But the balance, the organization, the togetherness, the synergy that this Argentina team has, it's better than any Argentina team Messi has ever played with. So in that sense, as well as Messi being in those GOAT conversations, or possibly leading the GOAT conversations, of course, he will always have more expectation on his shoulders than Neymar. I can't argue with that.
between the two of them, Neymar and Messi,
Yeah.
who is the actual better international player? So I've got the stats for Neymar. I believe you know the stats for Messi.
Yep.
121 appearances, 75 goals, 54 assists. That's Neymar's stats. That's
crazy numbers.
Incredible stats. And when you include in that the Confed, where he took
man.
down
Talk
the
about
great
it.
Spain team, that was unbelievable. The left foot
At 21
finished near
years,
post.
at 21 years old to be doing that, bro. I remember watching that Confederations Cup, right? And thinking to myself, I'm watching the next Messi. I'm watching the next Ronaldo. Like, he took that tournament over. And like you said, that Spain team, to that point, we hadn't seen the 2014 World Cup where they capitulated. We still had in our minds, this is the greatest national team of all time. And he just took them down as a 21-year-old.
And he just took them down. And it was a great tournament. And then the Olympics as well.
Yeah.
I would have mentioned that
Of course,
as well.
that counts.
I know Messi has won an Olympics in 2004, I believe it was, with Di Maria and Aguero and them lot. However, Neymar had a great tournament as well. I think he's got 8 Olympic goals as well.
And the thing is, that was Brazil's first ever Olympic medal.
There we go. So that's something that the greats that I've just mentioned haven't done, you know, and he's chasing, as I said, he's chasing the shadow of these GOATs, but he's actually only 2 goals away from being, equaling the great Pele for all-time goal scorer for Brazil. However, of course, I understand Pele has 3 World Cups. There's levels to this. Do you know what I mean? There's levels to this when
that's
it
the
comes
Godfather.
to there's levels to this when it comes to Brazil, but that's why I'm saying, like, that's a shadow that can't be chased. 3 World Cups, 2 back-to-back. One of them you won as a 17-year-old.
Neymar will never be able to eclipse what Pele's legacy says.
Exactly. So I don't think, even though he's had pressure on him since he was 16 years old, this guy, one thing I love about Neymar, he's embraced that pressure.
100%.
From 16 years 100%. Old, he has known, I am the chosen one. Kaká didn't have that. Ronaldinho didn't have that. Maybe R9 did. But they came with that kind of, I am going to take over. And
Neymar's the first YouTube footballer, bro. Like, he's the first player that we found out about watching his hoop mixtapes on YouTube, bro. We didn't see this guy playing. The first time we ever saw him live, in my opinion, was probably, like, unless you were watching Santos like that regularly, the first glimpse of this guy we saw live was that Confederations Cup.
No, mine actually wasn't.
Was it the Club World Cup against Barca?
No. Let me tell you when. Yeah, that was then. And, you know, there was also that time he played against Scotland in a friendly.
At Wembley.
At Emirates. At Emirates or was it Wembley? One of the two. I think it might be Emirates.
Was Ronaldinho playing for Brazil at that point?
I think so, yeah. And he just had like a top game. Everyone was amazing. And this is when he had the high hair.
The haircut was clapped as hell, by the way. He's grown up since then.
He had that little nose thing as well, you know what I'm saying?
I never understood why he did that, bro.
Sinuses problems.
Nah, man, that's crazy.
But you know what? Like, with him as well, I feel like, I remember he even came through. Remember Joey Barton saying the famous line that he's a Justin Bieber of football. Yeah. He's come through with so much expectation of the new generation. You see all this Gen Z, all this type of stuff that we see. He's like the leader of that. Of course. You know what I'm saying? And that's one thing that I love about him. And that's why I would say, as much as Messi has probably more goals, he has probably more assists. This is Lionel Messi. We know what he can do. But that's why I would say that Neymar's international career, 10 World Cup. No, 10 appearances,
6 goals, 2 assists.
Okay, only 1 knockout round goal, which he needs to improve on as well. This tournament, that must improve. But I think from the pressure that he's had from 16 years old, I think that's why his international career triumphs for me.
That's a decent argument. And listen, the thing that you'll get from this argument for me is that these are possibly my 2 favorite players ever. I love Neymar, I love Messi, so I don't really have too big of an issue giving one the edge over the other. But the thing I will say about Messi's international career is that you have to understand too, this guy was within the sliver of a post away from winning the World Cup. And even though he may not have scored, he was highly influential in those Argentina games. Whether you think he was the best player in the tournament or not, he still had huge moments in those knockout games. I remember Switzerland, for example.
He got the assist for
3 guys on his back, plays it into Di Maria. The game against Iran, in the last second where he scores that winner, puts them on their knees. Like, he's had some major moments at World Cups as well for Argentina. And I think at the end of the day, too, that Copa America, no matter how many attempts he got to do it, he was still the best player at that tournament.
Let's not ignore some of them choke moments that Messi has had in an Argentina shirt. We talk about the final. He should have buried that chance. You talk about those 2 against Chile.
Yeah, the penalty shootout.
The penalty shootout. He was, I wouldn't say responsible for, that's harsh, but he was a part of.
Of course.
We got to be honest. It's only until this Copa America that he kind of washed away some demons. And I feel like people are now kind of, and this is not to get onto Messi, because, you know, I think Messi's the best player ever. This is just, I feel like now it's kind of like, because he got that, it's like, everything else that's happened before.
Nah, definitely
never
not.
happened.
Definitely
you know
not.
what I mean? Now it's just like we look at his stats.
Yeah.
We got Copa America. That's it.
Nah,
but I don't
wouldn't
think
say
it
that.
is.
No, I would agree with you. I think in fact, it's kind of funny right now, right? The narrative around Messi has always been, could he ever do it outside of the Barcelona system? It seems like every time he gets out of Barca, he struggles for Argentina. But the last 2-3 years, he's actually been playing better for Argentina than he has for PSG. That's the craziest thing. It finally seems like he's at home in the Argentina setup. So I wouldn't disagree that Messi for Argentina, for me anyways, has always been a little underwhelming.
Retirement.
That's a big for me. That's
retirement.
Yeah, he's
Neymar
lucky.
would never.
Yeah, he's like. Well, they're talking about Neymar. Neymar said that this might be his last World Cup, and he's only 31, 32.
Hey, that's
bro.
the Brazilian syndrome. You know what I mean? They do their
That
fun.
sounds like a cop out to me, bro.
That's the Brazilian syndrome. They do their thing. They jump out. You know what I mean? Neymar's probably had a longer career than most of them. But that retirement, that's a big L on his name, bro.
Nah, 100%. The only thing I will say, though, is that Neymar losing the Copa America final in the Maracanã at home to Messi, when I think Brazil's team for the last few years has been better than Argentina's. In fact, Neymar, Brazil, you talk about Argentina's winning run. Brazil have lost one single game since 2019, and it was to Argentina in that Copa America final in their backyard.
That's crazy. That is crazy. And something was funny about that, though. I'm not going to get into my conspiracies, but something gave me a vibe. They'll back your payment.
Oh my God! You can't be
set man to win because, bro, Neymar seemed a bit too happy to lose that final, bro.
What you mean? He was crying after the game,
the
bro.
Brazilians were like, we don't mind it. I don't mind seeing a Messi win.
That's greatness. That's greatness, bro. That's greatness.
The game's gone. The game is gone.
That's greatness, man. Even the ops love us, bro. How can you say?
How can you be Brazilian? Yeah, Brazilian heritage, Brazilian pride. What I'm wearing. You know what this means? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you're sitting there saying you're happy to see Messi win the World Cup. Nah, I don't know, man. The game's gone for me if that's if that's the case, man. Honestly, but with Messi, not even with Messi, with the two of them, do you think would you say these are the favorites to win the tournament?
Absolutely. I mean, I've been on the record for a while now. That I think the European teams, a lot of them are almost in transitions between two generations. I look at Belgium. They're really, and I know you don't really rate that golden generation, so to speak. Yeah. But regardless of what you think of them, they're exiting that Hazard, Lukaku, even De Bruyne to an extent. How many years does he really have left at the top? And entering this new generation. Can this new generation of Trossard and De Ketelaere and these guys stack up to that? Probably not. I think they're stuck in the middle. Yeah. Germany are kind of ending. They're still kind of getting out of the shadows of the Joachim Löw, Schweinsteiger, Klose, even Thomas Muller. Like they're getting out of that into their new era. Yeah. Spain. France kind of stuck in the middle. I don't really look at any European team right now and say, wow, this is a powerhouse.
No, England? It's in England.
The fact for me that England are even in these conversations as one of the top European teams,
where it's at,
for me shows. And England could do something, but I don't even rate them that highly. I look at Argentina and Brazil, and I think there's an argument you could make that these are the two best international teams on the planet at the moment. Neymar, I look at this, right? If he wins the World Cup, the Ballon d'Or is his, in my opinion. Especially now in this new Ballon d'Or system where it's a season thing and not a year thing. The Ballon d'Or will go to the best player on the World Cup team, in my opinion. Yeah. So you talk about wants and needs and expectations. I think that's why Neymar needs it, especially because Neymar at the end of the day left Barcelona to go to PSG to have his own team and to establish. Because you talk about these great all-time players. For me, the thing that separates Neymar from those guys is that Ballon d'Or. Whether it's right that he grew up in the Ronaldo Messi era or not, he needs that piece of silverware to chat to guys like Dino, in my opinion. Yeah. And at this point in his career, this is what's left for him.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, as I said, you want to enter these conversations. Maybe when you're talking about Pele's and stuff, people might be like, hey, slow down.
That's for me, that's a different tier.
Exactly. But when you're talking about Ronaldinho's and stuff, this is the type of thing that he's going to need. Because Ronaldinho himself, he didn't take over the 2006 World Cup when it was probably his time. 2002, he was a good contributing piece to what R9 was doing. Rivaldo, all of them guys over there, Lucio, all of them guys. However, he never really grabbed that moment. Neither did Kaká and that. So it'll be nice for Neymar to win this tournament so he can enter them conversations. Definitely. But as I mentioned, one knockout round goal. I love Neymar, but that's got to improve. Messi, 0 knockout round goals.
Has to.
That's got to improve. Because one thing that we do in this generation is we say everything's the best, the best, the best, the best. Yeah. But when you're talking about the old heads, they'll sit there and be like, man's got no goals in knockout rounds.
Let's talk about Argentina and Brazil. We talk about Pele and Maradona, who for the old generation, those are the two GOATs. Before Messi and Ronaldo came into the scene, I remember my dad telling me about those two. Yeah. And you look at their World Cup success, and forget about what they did at club level. It's a World Cup show.
You look at Zidane.
Yeah,
You look at somebody else that's in those type of conversations.
R9,
you look at what he's done internationally, R9 internationally. These moments are meant for these type of players.
100.
And I think it's a massive disappointment that us in this generation haven't had a Ronaldo crazy World Cup, haven't had a Messi crazy
We
World
got Diego Forlan.
Bro, we've had James, Tony Cruz,
Golovin.
You know what I mean? This is what we've been like clutching on.
Yeah.
I think this is the tournament for either of these two.
100.
Either of these two. And finally, in what I would say, maybe, okay, my first World Cup was a 2-on-2 one, but for a South American nation to win it. Because as you mentioned, when I grew up, growing up, it was always just about Brazil and Argentina do you know what I mean? And so far, it's all been Europe. So I actually think it'll be really nice to see one of these two teams win it.
Here's the statistic, right? Since 2002, we have had, including 2002, right? We've had 2 South American teams in a World Cup final. Forget about winning it. 2 of them even participating in it.
Crazy.
Every year it's European versus European.
And
European
that was
versus European.
Argentina
Versus Germany.
Yeah.
And then Brazil versus Germany.
Oh, you're
including that.
Okay.
Other than that, it's been France, Italy, Spain,
That's
Netherlands,
mad.
France, Croatia.
That is mad.
It's time to buck the scene, bro.
It's time, man.
to buck the trend.
Listen, the teams are ready.
Yeah.
The stars are ready.
I mean, let's talk about Brazil a bit,
cohesion.
right? You talk about the teams. Brazil, I told you, I think they enter this World Cup with, by far and away, the best team, but without a doubt, the best attack. The amount of options that... it's not like you can say this is a carry job if Neymar is to win it, unless really his teammates just completely flattered to deceive. Because you look at the attacking firepower that they got. Anthony, Rafinha, Jesus, Martinelli, Richarlison, Vinny, Rodrigo, and Ney. Bro, that's 8 of
It's no matter what, though, with all those names... You're still gonna look to that man.
Of course.
You're still gonna look to that man. So that's why for me he has to get it done. And of course, we're nitpicking between who needs it more. We're nitpicking through so many narratives.
Of course.
However, these narratives exist, and one of them are gonna have to wash that away. So finally, I'm gonna ask you the final question: who is winning the World Cup?
Me personally, I believe that Brazil will win the World Cup this year.
It's so funny because. You're wearing the Argentina. I think Argentina are winning.
I know why you're putting this pressure on Argentina, by the way. I know why you're putting this pressure on Argentina.
You don't know me like that.
Nah, I know you like that,
You don't know me like that.
I know why he's putting... Because the third guy we're not talking about today. But regardless, I think Brazil will win the World Cup this year. And I say that because I think, look, we haven't even talked about their spine, right? The spine of Alisson, Thiago Silva, Casemiro, Neymar. That's an unbelievable spine, especially the form Alisson is in at the moment. I just think they have the least amount of weaknesses. Their fullbacks don't light the world up, but I think the rest of their team is unplayable. And I think this is, if you guys remember that video I made, what defines the legacy for Neymar? This trophy, Brazil's 6th, that defines his legacy.
I think Argentina is crazy because I think whether Messi has a great tournament or not, when I look at what Argentina have, they have something that's perfectly suited to tournament football. They have that grit, that grind. They fight for every ball. They defend with their heart. And then they have the star quality of a Messi. And then they have the humility, the players who understand Messi is the guy. You know when Messi was coming through 2010 and all this type of stuff, Tevez is not saying that he thinks he's better than Messi, but he's thinking,
I gotta get mine too.
I gotta get mine. Higuain, I gotta get mine. Aguero, hold on 1 second. We came together. I remember when we were growing up, we were kind of levels.
I'm Maradona's godson.
You know what I mean? Like, we were kind of level. Yeah, you're my boy, but we were kind. So he had all of these situations. Then you go back, I think, further to Riquelme and Crespo and all these type of guys. So now I feel everyone understands this is Messi's team. We're going to fight for it.
I mean, you remember the last scene in the final of the Copa America? They all run to him, bro.
Exactly. That was a bit corny. I ain't going to lie, but that was a bit corny. That was a bit corny.
Oh, this guy's a generational hater.
That was a bit corny. But however, I do think Argentina, with just the way they understand how to do it, I think they might be the ones to take it. I'm excited for
time to deliver. Me, I can't lose, bro. I can't lose in these shoes, bro. Neymar and Messi. Hey, I'm eating good anyway.
Listen, if it's not Neymar, it better be Harry Kane. Let me just tell you that anyway. Hey, the real truth is, don't let Mbappe get 2 by 20.
Oi!
That's a whole... Listen,
uncomfortable.
I'm going to do many more FTBL cultures, and I'm going to speak about France. I'm going to speak about Mbappe, what this tournament means for him as well.
What about Ronaldo, man? Can we get a... Wait, it just don't matter for him anymore, bro? King?
Come on, Portugal, Santos ball, and you know what I'm saying? I ain't really optimistic for them, but let's see what happens, man. As I said, no Jota, advantage Portugal. You know what I mean?
Oh, you're a bastard.
Advantage Portugal, but Lias,
hey, bro.
thank you for coming
always a
down.
pleasure.
You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
Listen, the World Cup is coming. We're going to have another episode talking about the World Cup as well. Stoppage time, there's going to be the build-up and the preview to it. We've just had our discussion about Neymar and Messi. Let us know in the comments who needs this tournament more, who has to win it more, who's the expectations on, and just let me know in general who is going to win this tournament. Thank you for tuning in. It's myself, CultureCams. Of course, Leah's there. Make sure you follow on all social platforms. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. And we are out.